human beings are designed to use light for communication. And what Lifewave is doing, and what all light therapy is doing, is tapping into this system to induce biochemical changes. And there's a huge body of evidence to support this. It's also uh, it's also self-evident. We go in the sun, and sunlight elevates vitamin D. Or if you go out, for men to go out in the sun and have sunlight stimulate their androgen receptors on their shoulders, they're going to elevate their testosterone. Or, of course, light will induce production of melanin, which is an antioxidant. So it's self-evident that light induces biochemical changes in the body. So as long as we know the code by which this happens, then we can create devices such as Lifewave, which will tap into that system and produce beneficial health effects. We should keep in mind that this is the way that we were created. So, in other words, for thousands of years, we've been told that in, let's say, Eastern religion or philosophy, spirituality, that human beings are beings of light. And this, as it turns out, is has a basis in fact, and it's a field of study in biophysics, where you can take living cells, whether or not they be plant cells, animal cells, human cells, put them in a room that's completely dark, and use a device called a photomultiplier tube, where we can measure laser-like coherent emission of light from human cells. And these highly coherent pulses of light come from the DNA. And the reason why they're there is to initiate any number of biochemical reactions that occur. So the body emits, as a result of metabolism, emits infrared light, and that's what body heat is. And we can pick this up with thermal imaging. And it's actually, thermal imaging is a tool that we use in a number of our clinical studies. But the patches do contain a number of organic materials. So they're sealed inside a high density polymer shell that doesn't allow any of those materials to come in contact with the skin. And they're stereoisomers of amino acids, sugars, oxygen, and they're in these water-based solutions. So what happens is you put the patches on the skin, they're activated by your body heat, and in turn, these materials will start to reflect specific wavelengths of light that will stimulate the skin. So this is a field of science known as photobiomodulation. There's thousands of studies that show that if you stimulate the skin with certain wavelengths of light, such as 850 nanometer in the infrared, 660 nanometer, these will turn on energy production in the cell and produce a number of benefits, such as pain relief. But what I did was I went one step further, where we modulate that wavelength of light to contain information, just like an FM or an AM radio. And now what we can do is we can cause synthesis of specific peptides like glutathione or like carnosine or like copper peptide.